Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, it's Cynicalex, and today we're going to do a PvP test for Blue Marvel and Captain Marvel, with both of them equipping PvP-centered CTPs because of the CTP unequipped discount. But right before we do that, I want to give you guys a quick comparison here of Blue Marvel with a 160 proc obelisk, which was a minute 25 clear raw damage, versus what he has right now, before I take it off, a CTP of energy. So we're going to see here, there's no team up, there's no, any additional setup here. It's really just his raw damage and what he can do, and we'll see how that pans out as far as, comparing him to other characters. So you proc on the tier 3 here, it's not bad at all. We do the co-op skill to dodge the first cage. We go right back into our proc. We are gonna get snared here because of, because of Wasp Van Dyne. No worries. We're proccing on the 5 cancel 4 combo. Okay, and then we're just gonna wait here for the 5 cancel 6 combo. Not a lot of buffs on my man Blue Marvel, so we just make do with what we've got. Okay, we missed the proc and then the co-op skill. Okay, we missed a proc and then the proc just never activated. So there you go, 4 minutes, so a 1 minute clear. That was a little bit slower. He can do it in about 4:05 to 4:10, so he's about 30 to 35 seconds faster. Clearing it in 1 minute is not bad, don't get me wrong, but we'll just do a very quick comparison here. And again, it's not the exact same character, but you have to consider these things. He's got a CTP of energy as well. We're not even gonna give him strikers for that matter. Again, I know he's a more expensive character because he's a native tier 2. He's a world boss, but at this point in the game, if you're gonna be building up Blue Marvel, you want to build up Blue Marvel for the game mode in which he's going to produce the most for you. And when you're gonna build up a character to do the most for you, you want a character who can literally do the most possible. And as you can see here, with just 1 rotation, we are almost done this fight. So yes, and again, it's also a CTP of energy. It's not a reforged energy. He does have some Odin's blessings, but you're really not going to be able to get this kind of value, and you're not going to be able to get this kind of production in PvE out of Blue Marvel. It's just never going to happen. And I would argue that Cull Obsidian is as tanky or tankier than Blue Marvel in PvE. He's got an auto heal that you don't have to worry about. Very smooth rotation. The only challenge or the only difference is he's a transcended character rather than being a tier 3. So yeah, there are characters that are built more for PvP. There are characters that are built more for PvE. And after pretty extensive testing, I would say that he is one of the characters that is built a lot more for PvP than PvE. His ult just doesn't hit hard enough. It does not have enough juice in it. He doesn't have accumulation despite having absorption and all these other things. He just doesn't have enough meta buffs, and he doesn't have enough raw damage to really make it work. So yeah, the CTP unequipped discount is on right now. It's on for the next 3 or 4 days, so I would strongly recommend you take advantage of it. It is on for, I think I passed it already, 3 days and 18 hours. Yeah, so 4 days. I will be making a updated video, best characters for each CTP, so you guys can take a look at that. But in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and take this off and swap this for a regen. We have a very well-rolled one right here. I do think regen is going to be the best option for Blue Marvel. And then for Captain Marvel, we are actually also going to go with a regen here. I know this is kind of strange, but I want to see if she can be really tanky and then therefore be really annoying. So we actually have another CTP here of regen, really well-rolled one. So we're going to try with both of them. I probably should have given her HP Uru. Let me just skip ahead to that, and then we'll throw them both into the Lion's Den. So we're going to do live fights here, and I just found this guy, Agent Clegane, so I thought, why not start off with the most hilarious possible setup? We're not going to bring Blue Marvel in as the lead despite doing autoplay, because we know that he's going to struggle a little bit in the leadership spot because of his lack of cooldowns at the very beginning. So let's see how he does here against this enemy Blue Marvel. Okay, he dusts him. We're just under 200,000 HP, which is actually kind of low, but we'll try to fix that. We did give him some 6-star HP Uru. Nice. And we did also give him a heal Odin's Blessing, but we definitely want him to be a lot higher than 200,000. You've got sentries that go up to almost 300,000 when all is said and done. So here we go. Let's try this guy here. We're going to do these live fights. I'm going to do a few auto. I'm going to do a few manual just to see what it's like. And keep in mind for Captain Marvel later, there's not a lot of villains in PvP right now. This guy's got a CTP of energy, so I think he's just going to be dust. Yeah, he's got a mighty energy, so as soon as we can get out of this trap... Yeah, I don't know why Blue Marvel is auto-attacking, but he's very tanky when you stack both Colossus and Ebony, which is really nice. So he dusts him. He's definitely going to struggle against Silver Surfer, which is kind of what I wanted to show off, because Silver Surfer has lots of iframes. Or sorry, because Blue Marvel doesn't have iframes and reflect. So Silver Surfer is... Silver Surfer does have some iframes, but really what punishes you there is the fact that Silver Surfer has reflect, and Blue Marvel having only one iframe, maybe two, really doesn't, you know, he has to one-shot Silver Surfer to be able to survive. So here we go. We're gonna try somebody else with basically the exact same team, not necessarily the same build. This guy doesn't have a mighty... Oof. Really? Wow. Oh, he's got a greed. Wow, so Blue Marvel gets absolutely dusted by the greed. And then, oddly enough, Ebony kills Sentry. This is one of the most bizarre fights I've ever seen. This is not really working out. I don't think Colossus lead is the best. Let's try Blue Marvel lead. Who knows? Maybe that is more effective. I'm not sure. This is me testing out the character. This should be interesting. His 50% all defense lead is not that good. I kind of wish they had done something else, even him a damage reduction lead or something. But the problem I have with Blue Marvel as well is when he does his 1 and 2, they're very weak. One of the really good things about Sentry, and something to note for future PvP powerhouses, the 1 and 2 skills, which will always have the lowest possible cooldown, if they're very, very strong, then it bodes very, very well for the character in PvP. In Jean Grey's case, back in the day, her second skill had a time freeze, which is so strong, and it had iframe. In Sentry's case, because he's basically like Jean Grey on super steroids, you have a situation... He died to Ebony? I just don't understand Blue Marvel, man. Anyways, in the case of Sentry, his first skill has iframe ignore and high damage, and his second skill has accumulation. So you can see how those two abilities being on the first two skills actually combine to make Sentry pretty busted. So I'm actually kind of disappointed with Blue Marvel right now. He kind of seems like he sucks. I'm not going to lie to you, but let me find Wasp and put her on the team and see if maybe that would help. The debuff lead and a little bit of HP instead of Colossus.Maybe he doesn't need to be tankier. Maybe he just needs something else. I'm not really sure what Blue Marvel needs. I've heard he's very good for Alliance Tournament, but 99.9% of players don't care about Alliance Tournament because it doesn't involve them. So let's try this Molecule Man team. This should be pretty interesting. Hopefully he kills my Wasp right away, because I really don't want to have to deal with a 20-minute iframe battle here, because neither one of these guys, good. Neither one of them has iframe ignore. That's the other thing that's very disappointing about Blue Marvel, is no iframe ignore makes him very bad for one-on-one situations. Alliance Tournament and Alliance Conquest are different because it's a 3 versus 3 scenario, so the chances of there being no one for you to target are slim to none. Like, the chance of your opponent's team all being in iframe simultaneously is like what, right? It's impossible. It's like rolling 3 dice and hitting the same number 3 times. Like at the same time, right? It's like rolling 3 6s at once. So that definitely makes him better in a 3-on-3 scenario, because he can pop his skills off, and because his Mockery skill affects all 3 characters, but it definitely does make his value a little bit more questionable in 1 versus 1. But man, I gotta say, taking those 2 or 3 L's, however many times we just lost, was totally worth it. That was an orgasm moment. To see Blue Marvel rising up and just boom, Kamehamehaing Sentry into the dust. Come on, you gotta admit, that was pretty special. That was definitely something that I would love to see again. Let me find another opponent here. Let's see if he can take down a double dip team. So this double dip team, we got a 270,000 HP thick boy here with a reforged regen. Should be very delightful for Blue Marvel to fight against. We need Blue Marvel to not die immediately. He pops the 5. Excellent. He pops the 3, and he pops Sentry. Interesting. So maybe he doesn't need Colossus. Very interesting. You know, he just needs somebody to stall for him. It's so scary when he starts auto-attacking. He's so bad at auto-attacking. So, wow, this is actually going better. So you would think that I made the team worse, right? You would think, oh, this team's definitely going to be worse, but I'm actually doing a lot better here. It's only a 10%. It's a 10% HP bump from Wasp plus the debuff lead. Obviously, oh, please Kamehameha. Let's go. He was, yeah, he did it. We get to see the ending of it here. He sort of Kamehameha'd us. So, okay, let's do one more here, and then we will switch over to Captain Marvel. And, ooh, this should be very, very tough. But they don't have Ebony. Ebony, I think, might be a better support here than Colossus. But yeah, you could obviously swap Wasp for Molecule Man, which could be an interesting combo. You could swap, the best swap would be swapping Wasp for Sentry, but I don't want to put Sentry on my team because this is not a Sentry PvP showcase. It wouldn't make any sense. My Sentry would just kill all of the enemies, and then there wouldn't be anything for Blue Marvel to do. So yeah, but I'm surprised that this team is doing so well. And again, with Wasp only bringing to the table the debuff lead and 10% HP, you could really argue that anyone can be substituted. Oh, anyone can be substituted for her. You could substitute Supergiant lead. You could substitute Jean Grey lead, Malekith, Strife. There's, you know, tons of options. So he actually gets all of those to fall, which is crazy. Now I'm really interested here because, again, I said the second half of the video was for Captain Marvel. I'm kind of curious off the top if I can do this. I wonder how tanky she's going to be. And again, there's very few villains right now in PvP. I may hunt for one of them being, yes, being Molecule Man. Just to see, Molecule Man and Ebony are basically the only villains you see right now. But as soon as Sentry's banned, you start to see Hulk, and you start to see other villains as well. So, yeah, it's interesting to keep in mind that any future villains, and this is the really cool thing about Captain Marvel, is she's sort of waiting. She's lying in wait like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap card. As soon as you slam down a villain, like Strife Tier 3, Doom Tier 3, new Native Tier 3 Annihilus, right? She just comes in and she's like, did you summon me? Right? Because she's just waiting to clap those cheeks. She's literally just waiting to clap those cheeks. Literally just waiting to clap those cheeks. So I'm very excited to see how she'll perform in the future. Right now is honestly not the best window for Captain Marvel because of how heavily saturated the PvP game mode is with heroes, right? And it has been for a long time. You know, Jean Grey, Doctor Strange, Odin, Silver Surfer, Sentry. Like, we've just been inundated with really good hero PvP characters, even the Defenders more recently. When you go into things like Conquest, you will start to see a lot more villain teams because Conquest uses your entire roster. So then, of course, someone like Captain Marvel is going to shine a lot more. But you AC heads don't need me to tell you that, right? So yeah, that's a given. And I would love for there to be a more accessible game mode where I could use Captain Marvel in PvP more often. But this will have to do. She didn't do bad at all in the first one. Okay, see, this is what I don't want. I don't want Wasp here stalling and stinking up the joint. That's bad for two reasons. One, it gives Sentry time to get his buffs up, to get his accumulation set, you know, all that stuff. Two, his tier 3, he builds his tier 3. So having Wasp as your leader is, you know, it's a give and take. It's always potentially risky. So her third skill there, that was very interesting. She kept playing her third skill through Sentry's fourth skill, and she actually punished him after he came out of it. So there she dodges the mockery, and then she goes into the fourth, punishes the iframe with no iframe ignore, and dusts him. Man, Captain Marvel might be the one to shine. But Ebony, of course, comes in and ruins my fun. You're a punk B. You're a punk B, Ebony. Oh my gosh, is he the new Colossus? That's so annoying, dude. He honestly comes in at the exact wrong time, right? It's like, oh, you're just about to have your debuff immunity wear off. Hey, I'm gonna come in and give you a 10-second mind control. Enjoy. she had that one in the bag, man. I was singing her praises. I'm still pretty hyped. In my opinion, she's performing much better than Blue Marvel. Keep in mind that their cost is similar. They're both 800 CCF tier 3s. The only difference being Blue Marvel is way harder to farm. I mean, oof. Way harder to farm than Captain Marvel. But there we could not dodge Sentry's disgusting 5th skill, and so we got absolutely dusted. So yeah, a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. I think both of them definitely have promise for PvP. I think Spectrum is next for the PvP testing. I do think both of them have promise for PvP, but I also think both of them are missing a piece. In Blue Marvel's case, I think he's missing a character to go alongside him, you know, some sort of character support type that can really make him shine, because he just doesn't quite have it for 1 versus 1 PvP. 3 versus 3 is a different story. In Captain Marvel's case, I don't think she's waiting for a character to come to the game to support her. I think she's waiting for an enemy. If most of those opponents that I lost to with Captain Marvel had been villains instead of heroes, she would have absolutely clapped their cheeks. Every single time we got Sentry down to 50% HP, unless he had an authority, he was dead. He would have been dead, right? When his regen had popped, he would have died instead, because he would have taken way more damage, right? She's sitting on a 60%, because this is a 50% buff multiplied by 1.2. So she's sitting on a 60% buff in their damage dealt to villains, which is wild. Now, the one thing you did see there, if you caught it, is there was a couple of instances where the enemies were running CTPs of authority. In that case, that is where destruction might have been better. Personally, in this day and age, with how much burst damage characters have, especially characters like Sentry, I would prefer the guaranteed value of a regen versus the potential value of a destruction. The destruction, if it pops, right, if you can roll the 30% chance, like if you hit on the 30% chance, then you get the kill. You confirm the kill. But if you miss, and it's a 70% chance to not penetrate, then you don't get the confirm, and the difference in that is huge, right? The difference in that is huge. So that's my decision on the build choice. I might swap over to destruction, we'll see, but I'm actually surprisingly impressed with how she did with regen, and that was on auto. If I choose to play manually, that's like a 90% win rate in my opinion. Lots of characters can do that nowadays, but it's really cool to see Carol back at it, just like she was 2 years ago. So hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Blue Marvel, Captain Marvel, and the surprising value of the tiniest Avenger, Wasp. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.